Have you ever noticed that when you start your day thinking, today is going to be a terrible day, even small problems seem much bigger? But when you tell yourself, I can handle this, the same problem suddenly feels easier. Is positive thinking just wishful thinking? Not exactly. Science suggests that the way we think can influence how our brain processes information, how we respond to stress, and even how we behave. So, what actually happens inside your brain when you think positively? Let us find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Vyapthi Curious Minds. Explore the world of science. Your brain is always processing information. Our brain is constantly receiving information from the world around us, but it cannot pay attention to everything. So, it uses something called selective attention. Imagine you are walking through a crowded street and suddenly someone mentions your name. You may immediately notice it, even though there are hundreds of other sounds around you. Our expectations and thoughts can influence what we pay attention to. When you repeatedly focus on positive possibilities, you may become more likely to notice opportunities, solutions, supportive people, and useful information. This does not mean ignoring problems. It means training your attention to look for what can be done rather than only focusing on what can go wrong. Positive thinking and stress. Now let us talk about stress. When we perceive a situation as threatening, our brain activates the body's stress response. The body may release hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate can increase, your muscles may tense, and your body becomes prepared to respond. But here is something interesting. Our interpretation of a situation can influence how we respond to it. For example, imagine two students before an examination. One thinks, I'm going to fail. I cannot do this. Another thinks, this is difficult, but I have prepared. I will do my best. The second student is not pretending that the exam is easy. Instead, they are approaching the challenge with a more constructive mindset. This kind of thinking can support healthier copying and problem solving. Can positive thinking actually change the brain? Here is where things become really fascinating. The brain has a remarkable ability called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means that the brain can change and adapt based on experience, learning, and repeated patterns of activity. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. At first, your brain has to consciously coordinate many actions, but with practice, the process becomes much more automatic. Thinking patterns can also become habits. If you constantly practice thoughts such as, I can't do anything, your brain can become accustomed to this pattern. But if you repeatedly practice more realistic thoughts such as, I haven't learned this yet, but I can improve with practice, you are developing a different mental habit. Positive thinking is not about magically rewiring your brain overnight. It's about repeated patterns of thinking and behavior. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring reality. There is an important difference between positive thinking and toxic positivity. Positive thinking does not mean saying everything is perfect when everything clearly is not. A healthier approach is realistic optimism. For example, instead of saying, I will definitely succeed, you could say, this may be difficult, but I can prepare, learn from mistakes, and improve my chances. That's not blind optimism, that's hope combined with action. And that distinction is important. How can you train positive thinking? Here are 3 simple science informed habits you can try. First, notice negative thought patterns without automatically believing them. Second, replace extreme thoughts with realistic alternatives. Instead of I always fail, try I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. Third, focus on what you can control. You may not control every situation, but you can often control your preparation, effort, response, and next step. So, positive thinking is not magic. It's not about pretending that problems do not exist. It's about training your brain to approach challenges with greater flexibility, hope, and constructive action. Your thoughts do not control entire life, but the way you repeatedly think can influence how you notice, interpret, and respond to the world around you. And perhaps the most powerful thought is simply, I can learn, I can adapt, I can try again. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel Vyapthi Curious Minds for more fascinating science behind the human mind and everyday life. Save Earth, save life. Thank you.